Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sophie, welcome, and if you're returning, holla as always. In today's video, I will be talking about 10 things I wish I knew prior to VSG surgery. So before I get started on this video, I just want to say that the title is a bit misleading because there is some stuff that I'm going to mention that I actually already knew before the surgery. However, I thought it was important to mention for anybody that was considering the surgery or anybody that was interested in the surgery. It's stuff that you should know prior to having it. I just want to make a disclaimer that I would not change my surgery for the world. Everything I'm about to mention, it can be annoying, it can be painful, it can be something that you wouldn't want. However, I'm 80 pounds down 5 months later and I am the happiest and healthiest I've ever been. As much as it can probably sound like I might be a bit negative in parts or unhappy in places, it is just the reality of having weight loss surgery. Again, wouldn't change it for the world. So with that all being said, let's get on with the video. Number 1, hair loss. Okay, so hair loss is something that I wasn't told about prior to my surgery. Even if I were to have been told about it, I still would have gone through with it. When I say hair loss, let me just explain. You're probably looking at my hair thinking, what is she talking about? She's got a gorgeous head of hair. And I know that there are people that suffer worse than I do. I have mentioned this in a previous video, but if you look here, you'll see that my hair is thinning and it's a lot thinner than it used to be. Now, I know that you're probably thinking you've got a gorgeous head of hair and it is healthy, but as somebody that's used to having a lot thicker hair, a lot more, my hair being a lot more full, it has been difficult to brush my hair and see clumps of it. Literally, I'll try and put a picture here, but literally clumps of it coming out. It is difficult to see and it was emotional at times, and I do thank my mum for being there for me. I'd say that started about a month ago and it has calmed down loads, which I'm glad about because I think if it carried on I would be bald. But it has calmed down. It's not permanent, it will grow back. The hair loss happens because of a lack of protein in your diet, so it's a shock to the system, but then it's also the lack of protein that you're suddenly having, that you're not having, I guess, in your diet. There are ways around this. Eat high protein foods, drink protein shakes. I use whey protein, which I absolutely love, and I have maybe 3 or 4 protein shakes per week. Protein supplements, vitamins. I'm taking vitamins at the moment. They are massive, but it's okay. And there are ways around it, but again, it's just something that should be noted prior to weight loss surgery. Numero dos. Weight loss surgery, I'm just going to come out with the reality of it, is either expensive, or if you go via the NHS, there's a long wait. I think, I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me, but I think the NHS waiting list is 2.5 years for weight loss surgery. And if you go private, you're looking at around £6,000 to £11,000, depending on where you go, depending on what you have done, if you have the bypass, the sleeve, the band. I went private, as I've mentioned in a previous video, so it is expensive, but again, just short and sweet, worth it, wouldn't change a penny, happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Number 3, a bit of a weird one, and you wouldn't really think about this, but you will never, well, not never because you might be able to, but you will not be able to eat and drink at the same time. Weird, right? So I noticed this quite early on, the minute after I came out of surgery and I moved from sloppy foods to normal food and then started to eat again. I realised that you cannot eat and drink at the same time. So you cannot sit down for a meal, eat your food and drink whilst you eat, which is so strange to explain to somebody, but it's because if you imagine your stomach to be like a pouch and you've already filled it with all the food, you can't then pour loads of drink in there. That's just not going to work. So you need to wait at least half an hour in between eating and drinking. Trust me, it is painful if you try to eat and drink at the same time. It will either be painful or you'll puke, and that is just the reality of it. I think it's the norm to like sit down and eat and then get yourself a drink, or you go to a restaurant and you order a drink with your meal, but no more, none of that. It's gotten to the point where like my mum sets the table and she'll set out like 3 place settings for my parents and myself, and then there'll be 2 glasses, and it's just like, okay, didn't want to drink anyway. Number 4. Sounds very obvious, but food will never be the same again. You will not be able to go to a restaurant and eat a starter, a main, a dessert, a big milkshake, and things that you probably would have eaten if you overeat like I do. Before, I would say that I ate to live. No, I lived to eat, and now I eat to live. I eat what I need to. For example, today it's about 4 o'clock. No, it's not, it's 2:30. It's 2:30, and I've had I'll put a picture up here, but I've had like a quinoa, bulgur wheat, edamame salad, which sounds awful, but it was actually incredible, and I've had that all day, and that's all I needed, because now I live to eat. I mean, now I eat to live rather than living to eat. It's a bit scary for me, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think about, like, in the future, like, if I ever do get married, which probably won't happen, but if I ever do get married, like, at my own wedding, like, will I be able to enjoy a meal with my family? Like, will I be able to go on dates again and things like that? Like, it is a bit overwhelming and scary to think about. However, I'm doing well so far, so let's just see how we get on. Number 5. Okay, it's a bit of a weird one. However, the people around you, even if they don't mean to, will act differently. Your friends, for example, if you go around to their house, they'll be so cautious, and it's the nicest thing, I'm not complaining at all, but they'll be really nervous as to, like, what they're feeding you, or they'll be like, can you eat that, can you eat that, can you eat that? Like, they'll be so cautious. And I'm talking about, like, if you've got friends that genuinely care about you. But your friends will be extra cautious around you. You'll go to a restaurant and your friends will make sure that you can eat there, and your friends will find it really weird that you have gone from eating everything off the menu to only having an appetizer, for example. That's one thing to mention. It's so nice and I'm so appreciative of it, but you will get babied and you will suddenly become the forefront of everyone's mind when it comes to food, and people will panic, and that's absolutely fine because they're not used to it and they don't see it every day, so they're bound to panic and they're bound to question everything. I remember, like, bless them, in my first week, when I was eating mushy food, and I remember my dad, bless him, or it was my mum maybe, both of them did the same thing. In our kitchen there's like a round corner bit where you can hide from people, and they both sort of took it in turns to stand behind the corner and eat their dinner, like standing there eating. And at one point I just looked around the corner, I was like, what on earth are you doing? And they were like, we're just nothing. And I was like, you can eat in front of me, it's literally fine. Like, I am blessed with the most amazing family, and I'm really close to my parents, and I've got amazing friends as well. It's something that everyone's just had to get used to, and the more people see it, the more they get used to it. I think you have to remember as well, like, it is a big shock to them, so just be patient with them, but they'll get it just like you get it. Number 6 is quite a difficult topic. There is a big mental challenge that comes with losing such a large amount of weight in such a small space of time. Overall, I hold my hands up and say I'm not complaining, it's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. But there is the realisation that unless you tell yourself you're beautiful, no matter what size your jeans are, you're not going to believe that you're beautiful. There's been times when I've looked at myself in the mirror 40, 50 pounds down, and I've thought to myself, oh my god, I'm massive. It's what you think personally about yourself. And I think the difficulty with weight loss for anyone, not just someone that's had surgery, is that you're constantly trying to improve and you're constantly trying to better yourself, which is why mentally it's actually a really difficult process. You have to constantly remind yourself how well you're doing. You have to constantly remind yourself that you've got this and you're doing well. At the end of the day, if you don't believe that you're doing well and if you don't believe that you're looking great, then you're going to struggle. And that's something I've had to teach myself. I've had the most overwhelming amount of support on social media. That's the reason I'm doing this video. People have asked for it. But it does come down to my being my own best friend and teaching myself that I'm doing well and that I'm losing weight. Because 80 pounds is a serious amount of weight to lose. But there's some days when I look in the mirror and I think, oh my god, I look exactly the same as I did before. Because it's a day-to-day thing and you forget what you looked like before, which is why I do monthly transformation photos, and which is why I like to remind myself how well I am doing through Instagram and through Twitter and things like that. There is a big mental aspect to it, but hopefully with the right support system and the right people around you, you will get through it. Number 7, joys. Boys. Dad, please stop watching this. I'll tell you when you can carry on watching this. It's really simple, to be honest. You will get attention from boys that you didn't get attention from before. I've had a few guys, you know who you are, pop up in my DMs or message me or show an interest, and they had absolutely no interest in me before. Boys is a difficult scenario because you will find yourself being attracted to a whole other kind of boy, like guy, male, man, whatever, you will find yourself suddenly floating around different social scenes and attracting guys that you just never thought you'd attract before, be it age, be it race, be it height, be it eye colour, whatever. Your whole outlook on guys and love and self-worth will change, and that is absolutely fine, and you deserve to feel amazing with the weight loss and suddenly having this era of confidence about you that you didn't have before. But just be mindful, there are guys that will suddenly like you that did not like you before, and that's okay, by the way, because everybody's attracted to different things. But be mindful of the people that weren't in your life and then suddenly want to be in your life, because if boys and females, no, it's a no from me. Number 8, if you are queasy, stop listening now. I'm just going to come right out and say it. You will puke. You will puke. As I said earlier, if you drink and you eat at the same time, you're going to puke. If you eat too much, you're going to puke. If you eat too quickly, you're going to puke. That is just how it works. You have a stomach that was like this and is now like this, and you are forcing food into that stomach. It is your body's natural way of saying, absolutely not. What the hell are you doing? Get this out of me. And believe it or not, it's not really puke, it's more like just regurgitated food. I remember my first week, I had some sweet potato chips, and I puked those because the skin, the roughage, was too much for my stomach to handle. I remember a few weeks ago I made myself some sausages with some kale and I puked because I had too many. It's literally that simple. You will puke. It's completely normal, but I don't think it lasts forever. Number 9. Is that number 9? No, number 9. Number 9. This is a really weird one, but like, you won't be hungry. Let me explain. So when I had the gastric sleeve, and when they take away 2/3 of your stomach, they actually take away your gestine, which is your hunger hormone. I saw a really good video about this and I'll leave it below for anyone that's interested in the actual procedure of the surgery itself. But yeah, they take away your gestine, meaning they take away your hunger hormone. So the best way to describe it is, I've not felt hungry since my weight loss surgery. I know that my stomach's empty, and I know that I need food because I don't have the energy, or because I'm lacking a bit, or because I'm tired or something. But as a whole, you don't feel hungry. You just don't. You might smell something and think, oh, I want to eat that, but you don't feel hungry. It's really hard to explain to people. It's also really weird to explain to people, like the fact I'll never feel hungry again. I've heard though from some people that you do feel hungry after a while again, and it comes back. But for now, I'm just not feeling hungry, and I haven't done since I had my surgery. Number 10, and probably the most important thing for you to know if you're considering weight loss surgery, your food addiction will still be there regardless of your surgery. And what I mean by that is, physically, you can have your gestine taken away, you can have your whole stomach taken away, but mentally, you will always crave that food. For people like myself who overate their whole life and had a genuine addiction to food in which they couldn't stop themselves, it doesn't go away. You will sit at a table and you will see everything in front of you and you will want to eat everything. You will go for dinner at your friend's house and you will want to be the person that eats the potatoes because nobody else has had them. You will go to an Italian restaurant and you will want all the parmesan over the biggest bowl of pasta you can think of. I can't do that anymore because of obvious reasons. However, you will still want to. And I think over time it fades. Please don't come at me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed that since December, my addiction to food has definitely lessened. If all of this was to go away and I was to go back to my regular self, I 100% would be still addicted to food, and I 100% would overeat, and I'd probably gain all the weight that I've already lost. 100%, because it's an addiction. It's like drugs, it's like smoking, it's like sex, it's like anything that people get addicted to. That is what I had / have. I still probably have it, but my surgery has definitely helped to reduce it. So if you are considering having the surgery, you need to be mentally prepared that they can't change the way your brain works, they can't change the way that you're functioned, and you will still be addicted to food, but it's just about controlling it and asking yourself, am I willing to give up that addiction? Am I willing to force my way out of that addiction to have this healthy lifestyle? And my answer to that question was, I'll do anything just to lose weight and to be healthy. Fair enough, I've not had pizza, I've not really had Chinese, I've not had all my favourite naughty foods since October of last year, and am I missing them? Not in the slightest. Am I enjoying the fact that my clothes are smaller? Loving it. Am I enjoying this newfound confidence that I've got? Best thing that's ever happened to me. I am telling you, I couldn't be happier. Life-changing, honestly life-changing. And those are the 10 things that I think you should know before considering or thinking about weight loss surgery. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really do appreciate it. If you want to know anything else, I will put my socials here, and I'm always willing to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you so much, genuinely. I know I say it all the time, but all the support that I've had for my surgery, for my weight loss, for my newfound confidence, it's just incredible, and I cannot thank people enough. So genuinely, thank you so much. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe as always, and I shall see you in my next video. Ciao!